They say university makes students. Here, students make university. So with the slogan of Think Big, I, Himanshu Kaushik, your host of the day, would like to welcome you all in today's session on renewable energy in India. And before we move on, I'm hoping that you are doing very much fine, happy, and excited to attend this session. So today we have gathered here to witness an interesting session on what are the renewable energy that we can produce in India and what are the future and scope of the same. And for this, we have been joined by Dr. Prashant Kumar. He is an assistant professor and head and academic operation coordinator as well from Department of Chemical and Petroleum Engineering, School of Chemical Engineering and Physical Sciences from Lovely Professional University. He is a PhD in chemical engineering and he has done his PhD from B.R. Ambedkar National Institute of Technology, Jalandhar. And before that, he of course had his master's and the bachelor's of, BTech and MTech in chemical engineering. And he also has more than maybe like 10 or 12 years of experience in teaching, and he has been working as assistant professor, as I introduced. And before the Lovely Professional University, he's been working as an assistant professor in chemical engineering department only from in Walida University, Ethiopia. And of course, he has had a good amount of experience in working as an educator. And before and apart from the education and the academics, he's been taking a lot of international and national conferences and seminars. So, sir, I welcome you in the session today. And it is a pleasure again to be able to listen you in the session. And before I request you to take over the screen, I just want all the participants to know that now you can post your questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box, or at the end of the session, you can raise your hand as well so that we can allow you to talk to our expert directly and have your query resolved from him. So with this, sir, I welcome you in the session today, and over to you, sir, and looking forward for an amazing session.
Thank you, Himanshi. So guys, today I'm going to speak about renewable energy status in India. I think we all know what renewable energy is, right? The energy which we can regenerate again and again and which can never get over, right? That is the renewable energy. If we want to talk about, we can see here the data which says that how much energy we are generating, how much energy through various thermal modes, for example, coal, gas, and then other techniques, DSL, and total how much thermal energy we are generating, how much nuclear energy, how much renewable energy, and how much renewable energy we are generating. And total this much is our capacity in India. Now, if you talk about installed capacity of the power plant in India till 31st December 2021, it was about 233 gigawatt, of which thermal contribution was about 65.8%, and nuclear was providing us 2.4% of the electricity generated, and hydro was contributing about 19.5, and then expected potential of 60%. That is, we can have more than this one, and then renewable was very small share, 12.3% of renewable energy share we were having in our country. So if we talk about this total electricity required versus electricity installed capacity in our country, if we compare it with the GDP growth, if we are having 7%, this is the growth chart. By 2031, we will be requiring, we are growing at the GDP growth rate of 7%, we will be requiring 3127 megawatt this one energy, and kilowatt per hour energy, billion kilowatt per hour energy. And if you are raising with 8% of GDP growth, this much is required. So you can see here that this is the in this table we are telling you how much electricity is going to require and what is our installed capacity in megawatts. Right? We have to cover that gap, that most of energy we can produce in our country only. So if we say electric demand rise, twice we can see in North America how much it is. Like Europe and North America, it is 11 to 31%. China, the rise is rising, the demand is rising in like anything now. in South America, in Middle East and South, in Africa, in India, you can see the demand and supply gap. And growth in primary energy demand is like 126% in India, and growth in electricity demand is 282% in India. You can see here that how much we need and how much is growth possibility is there from this slide. So you can see that oil, because we know that in India we are importing oil, and we can see here like in 1997 the gap was net import was 57%. Now in 2010 it gains to 85%. Then 2022 92% of all the requirements we are having in our country got increased. Right? This increase in trend is there in our country for the oil. So now why we need, because you see the crude oil, whatever we are having will last in 18 years. Whatever natural gas we are having will last in 26 years, right? Coal will finish in almost 200 years. So what will happen when all these things will finish, right? We have to think about an alternative which can give us the source of energy to live, right? So that's why here comes the renewable energy. So if we talk about renewable energy, you can see here what factors we are worried about. You can see the volatility of the price of oil and gas. You know, right? If Russia is fighting with Ukraine, then also the oil prices gain. And 1 hour a day, whenever OPEC wants, OPEC raises the price of the oil, or OPEC reduces the price of the oil by just decreasing or increasing the capacity, just decreasing or increasing the production of the oil, right? What it happens, because oil is the primary source of energy. Whatever the energy we require is being fulfilled by the oil, right? So it threatens our energy security, right? It is threatening our energy security. So what we have to do, we have to eliminate oil in our needs, right? That's why you hear now and then, every time our road and transport minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, says now that he wants to remove oil requirements in our country. That's why we are discussing about electrical vehicles, and electric vehicles are coming up. Then so much compulsion is given to the solar and everything, right? And then if you are moving to the electrical vehicles and everything, or renewable energy use vehicles, what will happen? The environment concern will also be addressed. You know now that our price of our temperature of our earth is increasing almost by 1 degree. So what will happen if we are taking care of environment? We are giving less sulfur, less carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide to our environment. What will happen? It will be good for our environment also, right? So that is why what we have to do, we have to use less and less oil, and for that we need to look for the renewable energy sources. You can see here global mean temperature has crossed 0.5 to 1%. Global sea level is rising from 4 to 10 inches, right? Global precipitation over land has increased by 1%, right? So projected temperature of 3.6 Fahrenheit by 2100. Projected sea level rise by 20 inches by 2100, right? And what likely increase in precipitation intensity. So what is happening here? So you can see here this much energy, fossil fuel we are burning when we are burning coal and everything. This much this smoke is coming and it is polluting our environment. So what it is exactly doing? You can see here that will come later. You can see here carbon dioxide emission by our country. You can see here this United States is giving us around 15% of all the carbon dioxide emission. China is 28%, India is 7%, 3% is Japan. Then comes South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Turkey, Poland, Russia, Italy, UK. So major players are United States, China, and India, right? Top 3 in these things, right? So we have to reduce this also. So what will happen? You can see the climate change. What will happen? It raises the temperature, it increases the precipitation level, it raises the sea level. And what will happen because of that? It will be health impact. Your health, we cannot sustain very high temperatures, right? So weather related mortality will come, infectious disease like COVID you have seen, air quality, the breathing problem will come, agriculture impact, crop yield will be reduced if that is happening, irrigation demands will flow into that, and a forest composition will, geographical range of forest will suffer, right? Water resource also, because if the temperature is rising, more water will evaporate, so water quality, water supply, all these things will have a problem. Impact on coastal areas, it means what? You know now that if the sea level is rising, Mauritius will can go deep into the sea, then Mumbai also can, Mumbai and like Europe, many countries can submerge in the sea, right? So these kind of things can happen. So if we want to talk about compact impact on our South Asia, you can see here Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and Maldives, right? You can see sea level rise hoga to very high dangers is there for Bangladesh. Why? Because more important cities of the Bangladesh are near to the sea, right? India, the modest effect is there. Why? Because Mumbai is there, Kolkata is there, Chennai is there. Few cities can submerge in sea. That is the reason, right? For Pakistan, low impact because very few important cities are there. This Maldives can go into the sea, right? So that is the problem with this one. And glacier melting, all the, you can see entire South Asia is having issue. Temperature is, so you can see there Afghanistan is very high problem. Bangladesh has moderate problems. Bhutan has problems, right? India is having high in everything. You can see we talk about sea level, glacier melt, temperature increase, flooding, drought. So all these problems will arise if this thing continues. Right, so you can see here, if we talk about this impact or sea level melting, our Arctic Sea ice boundaries were there, which is shown in the red color, right? You can see here how, if we see from the space, you can see this is the Arctic boundary, right? And you can see here how this has happened, how much it is gone. More than 20% of the polar ice cap has been melted away, right? So this is the problem with the high rise of the temperature. Now, if I show you the picture, you can see here how in this picture in my in the left, how much ice was there and now how it looks like. Can you observe the difference? Right. So what we have to do, we have to look for alternative energy. What? Oil crisis 1970s, limited natural resources because oil, coal, everything will go, and every country needs energy now. Have you heard Dr. Jaishankar was talking to the journalist and he was repeatedly saying, I am purchasing oil from Russia for my energy security, right? Why? What is energy security? It means that continuous supply of energy so that industries can run, our economy can run, your vehicles can run. So for that, we need energy, right? And energy security means we have to keep that in the good prices because we don't want to spend more money onto that, right? So what happens? International mandate for development CDBM technologies to reduce carbon, sulfur, greenhouse emissions, phase out of fossil fuel generation, all these things will happen, right? So for that, some meetings happen, some scenarios happen, like IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. It happens in 1998. Then UNIFES, right? It happens in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. Then Kyoto Protocol, that happened in 1997. Then Copenhagen Summit, it happens in 2009. And India was the part of National Action Plan for Climate Change and Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission. We'll see it one by one. Right, now you can see India, right? You can see here that the resources are far away. You can see here the oil is coming into Delhi or something, and then it has to travel all the way, right? Some hydro source are here, and then it has to go to coal belt is somewhere here, right? And it's to travel organically. So what I'm trying to say that by the help of solar energy, wind energy, if we are applying renewable energy sources, what will happen? The transportation cost of these sources, now that they are very, very far away. So if you want it in your place, you have to spend for the transportation cost also. Now that will also reduce if we are trying to get some renewable energy source. So what our ex-president Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has says, he wants to cut down energy losses. Energy losses means what? You see, we are importing oil from the Gulf countries, right? And we are using it here, right? We in lieu of that, we are very less export we are doing to those countries. That is what energy loss. So we have to reduce that. We have to reduce our imports of energy, whether it is hydro energy or uh, oil and gas and everything. And utilize technologies to provide a diverse supply of environmentally friendly energy, right? What he is trying to say, he's guiding us, he's telling us to use environment friendly technology like electric vehicles, like in Brazilian vehicles runs on bioethanol, right? Energy, we must achieve energy independence by 2020 2030, right? What what was his vision? He was planning, he was suggesting us that we should plan our energy needs in such a way that by 2030 we should not be importing any energy from other country. Rather, we should be self-sufficient. Then increase the power generated through renewable energy sources from 5 to 20%. This is the nation's first and highest priority. So he was saying that this is the highest priority of our country to move to the renewable energy sources. So you can see for that Electricity Act 2003 came, which enables the provision. In this section 86(1)(e), specific renewable energy purchaser obligation grid connectivity comes. You know that you heard about more, what I say. You heard about the term smart city. What it is trying to say? You see, whenever there are industries or we kind of societies where multi-story buildings are there, they are obligated to install solar panels in their premises and connect it through grid. When they are connecting it through grid, what they have to do, they will supply energy, whatever energy they can use, they will use in their organization or their society, or whatever they are getting extra, they will connect it to grid, right? So whatever energy they will use through grid, or whatever energy they will give to the grid, right? The balance will take in charge from them. For example, if they use energy and from the grid 100 rupees and they gave energy of 200 rupees to the grid, so government will give them 100 rupees. And if the case is vice versa, it will, then they have to pay 100 rupees, right? Then section 61H, tariff regulation to be guided by promotion of renewable energy sources. What does it mean? It means that government should promote, it should plan like that more and more people should move to renewable energy. For example, you see the current government is giving the company subsidy on solar plants, right? Why it is doing so? So that more and more people move to solar energy. Then section 3 was the national electricity policy, tariff policy and plan. And then section 4 was national policy permitting standalone system, including renewable energy sources of energy from rural area. For example, biogas is there in that area and various others. Right. In that, what does that say? Promote cogeneration and generation of electricity from renewable sources of energy by providing suitable measures of connectivity with the grid and sale of electricity to any person. Also specify for the purchase of electricity from such sources, a percentage of total consumption of electricity is the area of the distribution license. For example, what is there? Suppose there is a X company is there, right? So that company need to produce whatever the consumption they are having. Suppose they use 100 kilowatt per day. So 15 kilowatt they must produce to use in their country. That is the current regulation. Right. The appropriate commission shall, subject to provision of this act, specify the terms and condition of the determination of the tariff, right? And guided by the following: promotion of cogeneration and generation of electricity from renewable energy sources. And what is what is our national electricity policy? Urgent need of promotion of non-conventional and renewable energy sources. Effort need to be made to reduce the capital cost of the such products. Adequate promotion measures should have to be taken for development of technologies and sustainable growth of these sources. And then this SERC is to provide suitable measure for connectivity of with grid and fixed percentage of purchase from renewable. That I have already explained now, that they have to install solar capacity or wind capacity, and then they have to need to connect it to the grid, right? Progressively such a share of grid need to be increased. Then tariff policy came in 2006. The appropriate commission shall be fixed by RPO and a regional policy wala, and SERCs shall fix the tariff. In future, DCOMS means to procure renewable energy. It means whatever energy it is giving and whatever energy it is taking, right? Through the competitive bidding with the suppliers of renewable energy. In long term, renewable energy technology need to compete with all other sources at full cost. So National Action for Climate Change, NAPEC 2008, 5% of total grid purchase in 2000 to be increased by 1% each year for 10 years, 15% by 2020. That's why I told you. And SERCs maybe set higher targets. Appropriate authorities may issue certificates that procure renewable energy in excess of the national standard. Such certificates, what will happen, may be tradable to enable utilities fall short to meet RPO, right? RPO generation capacity needed from 25,000 to 45,000 megawatt by 2015. You can see here, in this slide, I'm telling you that what missions we are having. So currently we are having Jawaharlal Nehru mission of right. Then we are having National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, right? It is having budget of 250 crores. Then we are having National Mission for Sustaining for the Himalayan ecosystem, right? Then we are having National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, National Mission for Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. So these initiatives are in force presently, and with this much huge amount of money, so that we can have that, we can move toward the greener energy and for better environment. And you can see here what they are planning in 2021. The renewable energy the market was this much, and now they in like in 2022 it was this much, and then you can see that how much we are predicting in India, that how much it will grow, right? You can see that exponential growth is happening in that sector. And policies and regulations should promote, it is a mandate that policy and regulation, whatever are there, should promote use of renewable energy. So various type of energy, wind energy, onshore, which means wherever you can put the near this one, and offshore. Then solar energy, that is solar PV, photovoltaic, concentrated photovoltaic cells, solar thermal like solar water heater, solar pump. I think solar cooker you must have seen at your home also. Then small hydro, it means small power plants with the help of what I say, your water. Then biomass like bagasse, like grass husk, cotton husk, you can see. Then cogeneration, then municipal solid waste also we can use. Then geothermal energy, then hydrokinetic, for example, tidal and wave technology. Right. So these are the options we are having presently for our renewable energy needs. You can see here, if in this map I am trying to show you that where we are having this wind power, you can see here in Rajasthan and Gujarat we are having highest, right? You see, then little facility we are having in Uttar Pradesh, little Punjab, Himachal, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, right? And now in this map, we are trying to say that we are trying to find out other sources also. Like you see, in Maharashtra is having that capacity also. This Karnataka is also having that capacity. Capacity means what? This capacity is there, but we are not trying to utilize it fully. Am I clear, guys? You can see here, solar, hydropower, and all these things. You can see wind, and Andhra Pradesh is having this much capacity. Small hydro biomass. You can see in the entire state how much capacity is there, how much we can use it, right? Now you can see the wind power. This is the installed capacity, and we are having potential of this much. Small hydro, this is the small installed capacity, and this much we are having, right? So you can see that if we can install more, we can have better use of renewable energy. Now you can see here in this one, in this image, we are earlier also we have seen this image. Now you can see Karnataka is having 24% of energy, whatever we are producing. Andhra Pradesh 19, Gujarat 22%, Tamil Nadu 11, Rajasthan 10, Madhya Pradesh 2, Maharashtra 9, and this much is the capacity here. You can see here that how this capacity is increasing. This time I'll cook. Now this is the wind energy, that how much this, how the site selection we can do, like we can go for plain terrains, and high annual average speed should be more than 7 meter. Yes, yes, Himanshi. I cannot hear you.
Nothing, sir, nothing. I just came in. Okay.
Okay.
You can carry on with the session.
Okay, and I can see here that altitude of the proposed site we have to see, right? And then nature of the groundwork, we have to see that soil for proper foundation, then favorable environment conditions to prevent corrosion and all these things should be there. We see the capacity of now if you talk about solar, India receives the highest global solar radiation on a horizontal surface. According to solar expert, India has the considerably scope of solar energy production. India is bestowed with solar radiation ranging from 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per square meter per day across the country. So desert area in India have the solar radiation requires for concentrating solar power technology production. A 16 by 60 by 60 kilometer area can produce 12 lakh megawatt power of power. And India has a desert area of 2 lakh 8,110 square kilometers in Rajasthan and Bhutan. Even if India using 15,000 square kilometer of desert, it can produce 3 lakh megawatt of the power. So what government is doing? Government of India is currently trying to establish large scale expansion of solar capacity by 2022. So you can see here Germany, how it is using, and how far are we from Germany, right? Germany is somewhat 32,509 megawatt. India is just presently 1,427. So if you want to talk about biomass and everything, long coastline offers huge potential for tidal power, right? About 9,000 megawatt need to utilize with hydro power plant, right? You can see for biomass, if you're talking about India as a predominantly agriculture country, there are so much agriculture wastage there. So that from wheat husk to rice husk, then coconut husk, you go, then wood chips, whatever, wherever you go, every area will have a specific agro waste, right? And what we presently we are doing, we don't know, that's why we are burning it. That's why you heard here and there that this farmers are burning paralis and it is creating air pollution. We need not to sell. We need to have specific power plant, right, for biomass based power plant, and which can burn these kind of energies, these sources, so that we can generate energy. One is there we are having in Punjab also, that is in Bathinda. In Bathinda, we are having a power plant which utilizes actually this agriculture waste, right? You can see here power generation potential is 22,000 megawatt. What are the decentralized generation close to the rural loaded centers? Technology is reasonably well developed. Environment friendly is this technology is not friendly. No net CO2 and emission is there. Then geothermal energy, which is like, have you heard? Do you know what is geothermal energy? You heard here and there, that in the lake also, in the plains also, there is some place where we are getting hot water. That hot water we are getting because of geothermal energy. So we need to yet to utilize that. Potential capacity is about 10,000 megawatts. Puga Valley in Ladakh has experimental 1 kilowatt generator in geothermal. Northwestern Himalaya and Western coast are considered source for geothermal energy. Then small hydro, you can see here na, in this image, potential capacity is 10,000 megawatt, non-polluting, is non-polluting. You can see here, this small water source is there. Na? Here we can utilize some kind of turbines and everything. Or here you can see here, we can have the turbines and powerhouse, and we can generate energy for the local area. That is why it is called small hydro, small power plant. So integration of planning for this planning criteria for RE. Like we have to think how we can plan for the energy, right? And secondly, we have to see that how we can integrate our whatever energy source we are using with the grid, right? For that, what we have to do, we have to forecast and schedule, like when the demand is more in the grid, at that time if you are inserting, it will be utilized. For that, SCADA or DCS kind of terms will be utilized for that very purpose. We have to network related problem and congestion we have to do, and then we have to have some production and some commercial mechanism we have to apply if we want to use this thing. Okay. So at lower penetration, renewable energy treated as an energy rather than capacity addition. And as the penetration of our renewable energy increases, renewable energy treated in terms of megawatt capacity, network development, and oil and gas management, right? Up to pooling station by wind development and beyond the pooling station by distribution. So what we have to do, you see, suppose you are having a wind energy, right? So whatever energy is generated, it will go to the grid, right? After going to the grid, then it has to go to the centers, right? That two things are there. Now we need two licenses. One for the generation of the wind energy, then secondly for other company to distribute it. And you can see how Tamil Nadu is generating energy, right? I'm just skipping some parts. So what is RPO? Obligation to purchase renewable energy directly through power purchases or indirectly through purchase of renewable energy certificates, right? So renewable purchase obligation specifies by SERC. It will intensify RE generator, reduce the geographical imbalance of renewable energy spread. Trying to say that whoever wants to generate the energy, he will get a license. He will get some incentives, like in the form of subsidies or something, right? And then because some mechanism is watching, so it will try to balance whatever this renewable energy distribution. You can see here, RE generation is renewable generation is there, right? Now, obligation it is sales at the tariff, then electrical component will be there, distribution company will be there, then REC component will obligate entirely or voluntarily bias will be there. So this will be the whole chart. It means whenever they might give licenses to other persons to sell their renewable energy directly. It is a very simple example. When sugar mills in UP were at boom, they used to produce their electricity, and after their consumption of electricity, whatever electricity was remaining, they were selling to the nearby areas. So in my city where I was staying, there was a particular area where government was not selling electricity, rather the sugar mill of that area was selling electricity. So what will happen if large grid is there? The variability will be better handled. For forecasting, operation planning can be executed. Then for scheduling, accountability is induced and renewable will be an alternative business. What they are trying to say, that we have to be considerate about that, that how we are going to connect our renewable energy source to the grid. We have to forecast that when the demand of this renewable energy can be more. At that time, more feeding should be there. And at that time only we should feed more energy should be there, should be, and then there should be some mechanism should be there so that renewable energy can become an alternative business for alternative business for better profits to the company or whatever society is generating. For example, you see, if you heard about the town Naya Raipur, every multi-story building is doing that. And instead of paying for the electricity bill, sometimes they are getting money from the government. Okay, thank you very much. I have given an outline of the renewable energy scenario in our country. And if you want to ask me anything, you are more than welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. First of all, before I take up the queries, thank you so much for coming in and for giving in your time. Actually, crediting your time for all of us, sir. Thank you, and for giving this insightful presentation. Sir, there's one question. When I was listening to the session, there's one question that I was getting in my head is, what are those companies? I mean, are there any scalable options like any entrepreneur opportunities one can
there are many companies are there which are working on solar, like L&T is also working on in that area.
Okay.
Moreover, government has mandate that every industry has to install solar plants in their premises, and it needs to be connected with grid. Okay. So whatever energy they are taking from grid, they are paying, and whatever energy they are giving to the grid, they are getting the money from the government. So balance they have to pay, or government has to pay. It's like that.
Okay. Sir, it's been said like what all hyped electrical vehicles are, right? So would you consider electrical vehicles as an alternate to the normal vehicles wherein all the fuels are used? Would it be good for the future also, considering the topic that
For the future, Himanshi, it might be good, but for now, the technology needs to advancement. Technology need to be more accurate, because you see, it is just an initial stage. So for long runs, if you are going from here to, if I'm from Jalandhar to Delhi, if I want to go, I might not consider an electric vehicle. But if I want to roam around from my home to LPU, I might consider electric.
And sir, like I've been hearing this debate, like all the electrical vehicles also have maybe a particular impact on the environment, considering they're using.
The battery is made of acid, right? Yeah. So soil pollution can be there, but the good thing is batteries can be regenerated multiple times. Okay, so if we are regenerating the battery once or twice, then proper disposal should be there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And sir, this last one question is, I mean, we have heard it, and we have also studied from the childhood also, that all these energies, solar energy, wind energy, and hydropower can be used as electrical alternative. Like the electricity that we're generating can be generated from all of these. But I think the power reality is a little different. We've been hearing it's almost about 10-15 years now. I think the implementation of this has been a little less. What do you want to say on this?
See, in many countries, like if you talk about France, you talk about some Switzerland, there they are having installed capacity of wind power. In our country also, in Gujarat, in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, they are doing good, right? But in our places, we are not doing that much. But sooner or later, we'll start doing that. You see, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And with this, sir, I think we're done with the queries here. And I would want to say again, thank you for giving this session, for giving this insightful presentation. And last word of thanks for the way that you've explained in the session. Thank you, sir. And now, so now I would want to take your permission to wrap this session up. Shall I?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you to all attendees also, you've joined us here and you waited for this 45-minute session here. And all the questions that our registrants has also sent are really appreciated. With this, I take your leave and meet you soon in the next webinar. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. And thank you so much for joining in again.